গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী, গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী, যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন, যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন, যমুনা তীর বনচারী, যমুনা তীর বনচারী, জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী, জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী। হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, জয় রাধা গিরিধারী রাধা গিরিধারী রাধে, জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা, জয় গৌরনিতাই গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই, জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ। হরে কৃষ্ণ। প্রভুজি
হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Hare Krishna, is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we are starting Lilamrita from here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We shall call our society ISKCON. Prabhupada had laughed playfully when he first coined the acronym. He had initiated the legal work of incorporation that spring while still living on the Bowery, but even before its legal beginning, he had been talking about his International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So it had appeared in letters to India and in the Village Voice. A friend had suggested a title that would sound more familiar to Westerners, International Society of God Consciousness. But Prabhupada had insisted Krishna consciousness, God was a vague term, whereas Krishna was exact and scientific. God consciousness was spiritually weaker, less personal. And if Westerners didn't know that Krishna was God, then International Society of Krishna Consciousness would tell them by spreading his glories in every town and village. Krishna consciousness was Prabhupada's own rendering of a phrase from Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, written in the 16th century, Krishna Bhakti Rashabhavita, to be absorbed in the mellow taste of executing devotional service to Krishna. But to register ISKCON legally as a non-profit, tax-exempt religion required money and a lawyer. Carl Jürgens had already gained some experience in forming religious, political, and social welfare groups, and when he had met Prabhupada on Bhauri, he had agreed to help. He has contracted his lawyer, Stephen Goldsmith. When Goldsmith, a young Jewish lawyer with a wife and 2 children, and an office on Park Avenue, was interested in in spiritual movements. When Karl told him about Prabhupada's plan, he was immediately fascinated by the idea of setting up a religious corporation for an Indian Swami. He visited Prabhupada at 22nd Avenue and they discussed incorporation, tax exemption, Prabhupada's immigration status, and Krishna consciousness. Mr. Goldsmith had visited Prabhupada several times. Once he bought his children who killed the soap the Swami cooked, who liked the soap the Swami cooked. He began attending the evening lectures, where he was often the only non-hippie member of a congregation. One evening, having completed all the legal groundwork and being ready to complete the procedures for incorporation, Mr. Goldsmith came to Prabhupada's lecture and Kirtana to get signatures from the trustees for the new society. Hare Krishna.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We'll be reading from canto number 4. So canto 4, chapter 25, and verse number 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll read this verse. Sunasam Sudat Datim Balam Sukapolam Varananam Sama Vinyasta Karnabhyam Bibratim Kundala Sriyam. Sunasam Sudatim Balam Sukapolam Varananam Sama Vinyasta Karnabhyam Bibratim Kundala Striyam. Sunasam Sudatim Balam Kapolam Varananam Samavinyasta Karnabhyam Bibratim Kundala Striyam. Sunasam Sudatim Balam Sakapolam Varananam Samavinyasta Karnabhyam Bibratim Kundala Striyam. Just one more time. Sunasam Sudatim Balam Sukapolam Varananam Samavinyasta Karnabhyam Bibratim Kundala Striyam. So the devotees can read the verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu,
Hare
Dhanwa
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Tunasham Sudatim Balam Sukapalam Varananam Samadiniyasta Karnabhyam Vibratim Kundala Sriyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I am also trying.
Hare Krishna.
Sunasham Sudatim Balam Shukapulam Varananam Shamo Vinnasta Karnabhyam Vibhratim Kundalaya Sriyam. Kundalaya Sriyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Shunasham Shudotimbalam Shukapolam Varananam Shamo Vinyasta Karnabhyam Vibhratim Kundala Sriyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll try.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shunasham Shudatim Balam Shukapolam Varananam Samovinyasta Bibratim Kundala Sriyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I am also following.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Sunasam sudatim balam sukopolam varananam samo binnasta karnabhyam bibhratim kundala sriyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so someone can read the synonyms. I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. Synonyms.
Sunasam, very beautiful nose. Sudatim, very beautiful teeth. Balam, the young woman. Sukopolam, nice forehead. Vara ananam, beautiful face. Sama, equally. Binnasta, arranged. Karnabhyam, both ears. Vibhratim, dazzling. Kundala Sriyam, having beautiful earrings. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. And translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll try.
Yes, Lord.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, the woman's nose, teeth, and forehead were all very beautiful. Her ears were equally very beautiful and were bedecked with dazzling earrings.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. And
Hare
then Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Quote by
So,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The body of intelligence enjoys the objects of sense gratification that cover it, such as smell, vision, and hearing. The word shunasham, beautiful nose, indicates the organ for acquiring knowledge by smell. Similarly, the mouth is the instrument for acquiring knowledge by taste. For by chewing an object and touching it with the tongue, we can understand its taste. The word shukapalam, nice forehead, indicates a clear brain capable of understanding things as they are. By intelligence, one can set things in order. The earrings set upon the 2 ears are placed there by the work of intelligence. Thus, the ways of acquiring knowledge are described metaphorically. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. So, this chapter is a bit quite different chapter because it's like different things mean have quite different meaning actually here. So we know that this is a story about king. Which king?
Prachan Varishat.
Yeah. This is a story about King Prachin Barishat. We know that King Prachin Barishat was very busy with performing so many different kinds of
Karmakanda.
karma kanda activities. So he was busy with doing so many yagyas, karma kanda yagyas, and that's why his name is Prachin Barishat. Prachin Barishat because Prachin means Prachi means
Old.
eastwards. Like so, he performed so many yagyas all over the world that there were Kush, that the tops of the Kush were all facing in the direction of the east. So that's why his name is Prachin Barishat. And we know that he's a descendant of which king? So we have already had his beautiful pastimes, and that is given.
Prithu Maharaj.
Yeah, Prithu Maharaj. So Prithu Maharaj, we know that he had a son who was given the kingdom. So the name of the son is
Anga.
Vijitasva, or Antardhan or Vijitasva. And then after that, he had two wives, and one of the wives had a very powerful son whose name was Avirdan, is it? And then Avirdani,
Avirdhan.
yeah, Avirdan, and then his wife was Avirdani, is it? And then in this way we have they had a son called Barishad, one of them, and then Barishad became Prachin Barishad or Prachin Bari, and we have already discussed about the sons of Barishad or Prachin Bari or Prachin Barishad. What were the names? All of them had the same name.
Prachetas.
Prachetas.
Prachetas, yeah, Prachetas. So Prachetas got delivered by the mercy of a devotee called
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva. So they took instructions from Lord Shiva, and they performed austerities in the water for 10,000 years. They got the mantra, which we have already discussed, and that's given in the earlier previous chapter. And in that chapter, it's mentioned that song which Lord Shiva gave to them, and that song is known as
Rudra Gita.
Rudra Gita. And they sang the Rudra Gita, and that's how they attained perfection. And we know that the father was given. The father had asked them to beget progeny, so that's why they went to perform austerities. And at the time of creation, that mantra was given by Brahma to others as well, and that's how Lord Shiva got that mantra. So that was the story of Prachetas. Now this is actually spoken by Naradji to Prachin Barhi. Why do you think Naradji went to him to deliver, to speak about this story or speak this story?
Because he was busy with that karma kanda, and he wants to tell karma kanda is not enough, have to do the bhakti yoga.
Very nice. Because he knew Naradji is a very expert preacher, and he knew, of course, he knew that this person is a karma kandi, and he will not benefit by doing karma kanda activities, because you have to take breath again and again. So he went to Narad's preaching style is quite different. Actually, he preaches in different ways. To different people, he preaches in different ways. He's a real acharya who knows how to preach to different kinds of people. So Naradji is he goes to the father now. The sons were given the Rudra Gita by Lord Shiva, and now Naradji goes to the father, because the father otherwise would will continue performing the karma kanda activities, the karma kanda yagyas, and that will not be useful for his deliverance. So Naradji is actually going and speaking in a slightly different way. So he talks about his own story actually, and our story as well, because this story is like we see also in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. There's other places where these kinds of stories are mentioned. Like for example, we know that Yayati Maharaj is speaking a story. Yayati Maharaj is speaking a very nice story, and that was about a he-goat and a
She-goat.
she-goat, Bakra and Bakri. So he was talking this, he spoke this katha about a male goat and a female goat. And that was actually, that male goat was who?
He himself.
he himself. And the female goat was the wife,
Right.
Devyani. So that was the Atma Katha, their own Katha. So this one here is also a Katha not spoken by Prachin Barishad himself, but it's spoken by Naradji to Prachin Barhi, and it's Prachin Barhi's own Katha. And our Katha as well. It's all meant for us as well. Because this person had so many material desires. Right? So it's mentioned earlier on in the previous verses. If you, of course, you have all seen what had the other devotee speaking. So verse number 12, King Puranjan had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. So if you have unlimited desires for sense enjoyment, then definitely you will have to accept
A material body.
You have to accept a material body. Because desires can be fulfilled only through a material body. We have to get a body, and then we different types of body and fulfill different kinds of desires. So depending on the type of desire one has. So if this Puranjan had so many material desires, of course, we must have also had many desires. That's why we have come into this body. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says in the 9th chapter, Ichcha dvesa samutena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichcha dvesa samutena. From Ichcha and Dvesh, what is born? Dvanda mohena bharata. Dvanda moh means that illusion. Dvanda. Dvanda means dualities. Sukha, dukkha, hani, labh, gain, loss, vijay or defeat, jay, parajay, victory, defeat. All these are called dvandas. So ichcha, dvesa, samutena, dvanda mohanavad. Sarva bhutani sammoham. All the living entities are bewildered by this. Sarva bhutani sammoham. Sarge yanti parantapa. Sarge means we actually accept different bodies, or we come to this world because of ichcha. Because of all the different kinds of desires that we have. Ichcha, dvesa, samutena, dvanda mohanavad, sarva bhutani sammoham. Sarge yanti parantapa. So ichcha. So this Puranja, this what's his name? Puranjan, or living entity. Puranjan is what? Who?
Our
The
body.
living entity. Living entity. So living entity, because it's got so many desires, so it's talking about this Puranjan, giving story of Puranjan. Puranjan, a name given to a living being. Or he's actually, in this story, he's a king. And so he's got many material desires. And this king, Prachin Barhi, also had so many material desires. So that's why Naradji is actually preaching to him in a slightly different way. We know that Naradji, when he will be preaching later on, we know that Prachetas will have a son called Daksh. And Daksh will have how many sons who will be made sannyasis by Naradji's message?
11,000. 10,000.
11,000. The first set 10,000 and second set 1,000. So those will be actually great grandchildren of
Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj.
No, Prachin Barishad.
Prachin Barishad, okay.
The Prachin Barishad sons are Prachetas, and Prachetas' son is Daksha. So Daksha is the grandson of Prachin Bari.
Prachetas.
No, Prachin Bari. Prachin Bari's sons are Prachetas. Prachetas' son is Daksha. So Daksha becomes the grandson of
Prachin Bari.
Prachin Barishat.
Prachin Bari. Yeah, Prachin Bari. And then Daksha's sons are those Sabalastras and Haryashvas, those 11,000. So they will be two great grandsons of Prachin Bari.
Prachin Barishat.
Prachin Bari. So he preaches to the great grandfather in a different way. Grandfather or great grandfather in a different way, and then he'll preach to the great grandsons in a different way. He preaches to them in a different way. What he does is just goes and tells them some. He'll just give them some bujoni. Bujoni will be what? What do you call bujoni in English? Riddles, some sort of riddles. So like riddles, for example, which is the place, which is the hole, which is, you can go into the hole, but you can't come out. So just things like that. He gave 10 of those such riddles, and then he just left. So he just preached in a different way. And then he did not do anything else. Just for a very short time, he stayed there, gave them about 10 riddles like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, 10 of them. And he left. And all of them got together using 10,000 intelligence combined. They all deliberated on those and then came to a conclusion that human body is not meant for sense enjoyment. Human body is not meant for even, having good facilities for enjoyment or family life or all these things. So they became very renounced. And then they left. They never came home. And then the second set, he said, what did he say to the second set? 1,000.
To follow their previous brothers.
What should one do? We should follow one's
Senior
seniors.
brothers.
You should follow one's seniors. Yad yad acharati shreshtas, tatta devetarajana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartite. You should follow the seniors. So what? And they started thinking, what did the seniors do? What did our brothers do? Elder brothers do? Yes, they started thinking like that. And then after that, they also decided to do the same. So that preaching was different. Naraji's preaching to the great grandsons of Prachin Barishat, and preaching to those grandsons, they were different. He uses a different strategy. To preach to Ratnagar, he uses different strategy. Go and find out from your family who will accept your sinful reaction. To Mrigari, he said, you don't kill. Don't half kill, but you should
Kill fully.
Kill fully. He was a killer, so and that was different strategy. And to Prahlad, it was not directly Prahlad, because if Prahlad had been born, let's say, Prahlad had taken birth, and then he came to Hiranyakashipu's kingdom to meet Prahlad, would it be possible? Would it be possible? It will be difficult for him to go to preach to Prahlad, because Hiranyakashipu will ask, why do you want to see Prahlad? So when Hiranyakashipu was performing austerities, at that time he goes to it. Of course, he had Kayadu. He was looking after Kayadu, and then he started preaching to Kayadu, and then the son was in the womb. And Prahlad became a devotee in the womb. So we can see how great Narad is. And even to the Dhruv Maharaj, he said, what is this? You are a Kshatriya. Just give up this, give up, don't show that Kshatriya's spirit, go back, your father will accept you. And then later on he saw the determination and he gave the mantra. So he gave the mantra to, of course, straight mantra to Dhruva, but he gave the ulta. The name he did not give to Ratnagar, he did not give the straight name. He gave
Ulta.
not Rama,
Om
but
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Mara. Mara. He gave the name Mara. Mara, you chant Mara. If you can't say Rama, you don't say Rama, but you do say Mara. And so Mara, 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 Ulta Nama Japata Jagadana Balmika Vebram Sama. So yes, now here, this person is also this Prachin Barhisat. He, for him, this is the Katha. And it's his own Katha, Atma Katha. So he had a lot of desires, of course. So he tells a story of another king. Actually, this is allegorical story. It's not that there is this person is some real personality. Puranjan is the Jivatma. And this Puranjan is very much like this person, Prachin Barisat, because he also has so many
Desires.
so many material desires. He has got so many desires. So, and to fulfill the desires, he has to accept a body. So body is like a pura. Pura means city. So there's a city, and city of 9 gates. So he looks for that place. Puranjan looks for that place to enjoy. He has to find a place where all these desires could be fulfilled. And the body is a means by which one can fulfill the desires. So Prachin Barhi, he's very attentively hearing because this is like his own story. So that's why he's attentively hearing. If he had said, okay, give up all the karma kand activities and you just do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it will be, you wouldn't probably take interest. But he is telling him one nice story, and then through the story he will get the knowledge. So he says that he had many desires and he had to fulfill the desires. So he was looking for finding a place, and then he found a place, and he found a place which was the place, the body, human body, and that body had that pura where he entered had 9 gates. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is also a verse also. Sarva Karmani Manasa. That verse in the 5th chapter, 13th verse. What's the verse? Sarva Karmani Manasa. Sanyasyaste Sukam Vasi. No dware pure dehi. Naiva kurvanna karya. That is 5 point, Abhay Das Prabhu, 5.13, is it? Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya sukam vasi. No dware pure dehi neva kurvanna karayan. So this is verse number 13 of the 5th chapter. So can somebody read the translation?
When the embodied living beings controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done.
So a person who has actually controlled this, Vasi means control the senses and the mind. So Vasi, and or Dehi means a living entity. So such a person actually does work, but he is not getting entangled. So that's no dware pure dehi. In this living in the city of 9 gates, sarva dware pure dehi. So no dware pure dehi. No dware means living in the city of 9 gates. So that's talking about such a person. So, but there are, so there are people who accept this body and their aim is only enjoyment. So they have this, they accept the body. So this Puranjan, who had this enjoying mentality, he accepts this body, city of 9 gates, which is actually human body. And this body is like the city, and there's so many things described in the city. There's so many different things in the city. There are walls and gardens and so many different things, but all of these things mean different things. And then now, in the last, about 4.5 verses, there is intelligence is described, because the previous, this is number 22. Okay, so it's mentioned earlier on, for example, in number contact with a very beautiful woman who is walking there without any engagement. So in that there's also the beautiful garden described and all these things. And then there is a very beautiful woman described, and that woman is who?
The intelligence.
The intelligence.
Intelligence. Buddhi. Buddhi is intelligence. And has got 10 sevens. 10 sevens are
senses.
The karmendriyas and the
Gyanendriyas.
10. The karmendriyas are the working senses, and there is also
knowledge acquiring senses.
Yeah. So that has got those sevens: knowledge acquiring senses and also working senses. Which are the working senses?
Hand, leg, mouth, hand, leg, mouth, and the anus and the rectum.
Yeah. So and then, so now the speaking power. Voice?
Voice, yeah.
Yeah. Hands, legs, speaking power, the voice, and then
genitals and the rectum.
Yeah, those are the 5 karmendriyas. And then there are 5 gyanendriyas. What are the 5 gyanendriyas? Which are the 5 gyanendriyas?
Chukshu, Karna, Nashika, Jihva, Tvak.
So those are the 5 gyanendriyas: the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue for tasting, and then the skin. Tacha. So there are those 10 sevens, and there are also those sevens have got many wives, which means there are many different things which can be enjoyed by these
10 senses,
like eyes, which wants to enjoy different forms. They want to see beautiful things. They want to see, like, they go for sightseeing. They want to see so many things in this world. They want to see, with the eyes, and they want to hear so many things. They want to hear what is going in different parts of the world. They want to hear, politics. They want to hear, what cinema people are doing, what sports people are doing. So those are different kinds of they're wives, like wives of those.
They're the attractions for the
or those different objects, different things that are enjoying through those different gyanendriyas and the karmendriyas. Even they want to go to different places, so they are using the legs to move from different places. So that's walking senses, and hands to do different things. They like doing different things. So all this, and now, and So coming to verse number 22, so the different things about the intelligence is described. Now, this actually intelligence is like is described a beautiful woman, and so Prachin Barhi is getting more and more interested in this katha because he is a person who is already attached to all these things. So these things make sense to him and very relevant to him as well, of course. So he is very attentively hearing this katha spoken by Naradji. Now, he's saying that in this verse 22, Tu Nasam. Tu Nasa means very, very beautiful. Nose. So the intelligence, which is like who's a female, a lady, beautiful lady, she has got all the beautiful. This description is given of her face. So Tu Nasam, the nose is very, very beautiful, and also Sudatim. Dat means teeth. The teeth is very, very beautiful. Sudatim. And also Bala means the woman, Bala. And so by the face one, the beauty is described. And then also Sukapolam. Sukapolam means the kapol is very, very beautiful. Kapol is beautiful, nose is beautiful, teeth is beautiful. And Sama Vinyasta, equally arranged ears, or we can say, yes, Prabhupada writes, equally beautiful, Sama is Karnyabhyam. Equally beautiful is also Karnyabhyam is
both the ears.
Both the ears. So nose, teeth, which is described in the Kapol, and Bibratim Kundala Shriyam. Shriyam is beautiful. Kundal is very beautiful, and Bibratim is dazzling. So basically what it means that here Prabhupada writes that the body of intelligence enjoys the objects of sense gratification. And that provides such a smell. So with the nose, beautiful nose means you can smell so many different things with the nose. So and then the next thing that's mentioned is the teeth, which means that the intelligence has got the mouth. In the mouth there is also tongue. And then there's the tasting power. And then if the kapol is mentioned, then there has to be in between. If the nose is mentioned and the kapol is mentioned, in between there has to be also eyes. And then the ears are on the sides. So basically all these things, the way of acquiring knowledge are described in a different way. So that means all the which indriyas are described? Karmendriyas or Gyanendriyas?
Gyanendriyas.
All the Gyanendriyas are described. Right? So we have the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, of course, the skin is there. So, so the intelligence here is a contaminated intelligence. What kind of intelligence?
Contaminated.
Why?
It relates to body.
Yeah, because this one wants to enjoy.
Yeah.
With the enjoying mentality, one acquires this kind of intelligence. Yeah. With the enjoying mentality. But if the same intelligence If one actually worships the Lord, Lord Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enama upyanti te. What's the meaning of this? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enama upyanti te. What's the meaning of this?
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me.
Yeah. Lord Krishna says, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. This is the proper intelligence that Lord Krishna gives to those people who actually worship Lord Krishna, who lovingly serve Krishna. Tesham satata iktana bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enama apyandite. And also Lord Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantira shantasya kutasakam. Nasti buddhira yuktasya. Those who are not connected with the Lord, na asti buddhira yuktasya. What is the meaning of this? Nasti buddhir ayuktasya. Ayukta. Those who are not yukt, those who are not connected, they cannot have.
Not have the steady intelligence, the mind,
Yeah.
steady mind.
And without which they cannot have a steady mind. And without that which they cannot have
Peace.
peace.
And
And what
there's
to
no
speak of?
peace, there's no happiness as well.
Yeah. What to speak of happiness? How can they have happiness without peace? And this is all starting from being connected to the Lord. And that is so that the Lord gives actually the right kind of intelligence, which is also it is also sometimes called vivek. Vivek means the power to know, or the discriminating power, that you know what is right and what is not right. Right. But it's also mentioned that we will get that vivek when we associate with
The Lord.
we associate with the devotees or the Lord. We get that through the Lord or through his representatives, the devotees. Binu satsang vivek na hoy. So bina satsang ke vivek nahi hota. When without associating with the devotees, one cannot get that that vivek, that intelligence. So here, of course, there's so much more, so many nice, so much nice katha given later on, and then so many lessons we can learn from this. But what we can learn from this verse is, what do we learn? So here actually, beautiful woman actually, like intelligence is described like a beautiful lady who has got all these different parts which are very, 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 very beautiful. So beautiful means what can happen when there's some beauty?
Get attracted.
Yeah, attracted. So that's why you can see that we get so much, attracted to so many things of this world. Isn't it true?
Yes.
So much attraction towards this world. So many things. Hare Krishna. Yes, so any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Thank you very much for the nice class, mentioning these texts with the right, so tabulated in such a way. It's very, very interesting. Of course, it is small text, but you have taken out that so nicely, so we can easily understand right through this importance of Puranjana, how Puranjana came into the picture, and what is the greatness of Narad Muni as a preacher. So we can see very well, a great preacher preaches in a different way to different people according to the time, situation, and so it all depends on the great preacher, how Narad Muni is actually preaching to Praching Varishan according to the situation he saw, and because he saw that Prachin Parishad was so much intoxicated in performing the Karma Kanda, so he made an arrangement so that he can understand his teaching in a right perspective. And he took up this story of Puranjana in such allegorical way so that he got the interest and set himself in the right direction to get the knowledge from Narad Muni. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Yeah, thank you. So very, something that he can understand and something that will make sense to him. So that's what he chose. So very great preacher, Naraji. Yes, thank you, bro. Yes, anyone? So what are some of the things that we learn? That we can learn from like all these different verses that we have learned read so far, still this 22nd verse. What are some of the things that we learn?
So
For us, what is important?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So one thing we understand, I think, from this verse and also previously, that our intelligence in the material is contaminated, and in this contaminated intelligence, we try to enjoy the things, sense objects. By this way, our mind is attracted to sense objects, and we try to enjoy it in that way. But that enjoyment is only makes us bonded or binds us with the material things one after another, because it is dazzling and it has so many attractions. And in this way, we are attracted and get drifted from our ultimate goal of human life. And Narad Muni is trying to impart this knowledge to Prachin Bori by telling the allegorical story of Puranjan. And so we should, unless we contact with the Lord, there is always a chance of falling down. So we should never forget that what is our real goal as human being, what Narad Muni is teaching us here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Yes, very nice. And there's also another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which says that Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramana manasastu para buddhiryo buddhi paratastu sa. So we have the soul, Atma, right? So we have Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramana manasastu para buddhiryo buddhi paratastu saha. What's the meaning of this? Greater than?
It is telling Prabhuji that the senses are superior than the dull matter, and beyond the senses is the mind. Mind is superior than senses, and intelligence is superior to mind, and even superior is the soul. So by controlling the soul, we can control everything.
Yeah, when the soul is in contact with the supreme soul or the Bhagwan, then super soul or Bhagwan, then intelligence gets controlled. You get the right intelligence, and by which mind is controlled and the senses are controlled. There's a hierarchy. They're like soul, intelligence, and mind and the senses. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Anything else?
Yes. Yeah, that's as we do the preaching, the Narad Muni is giving us a chance that what should be the style of preaching. So
they're learning the different, the different things, different styles of preaching, which is applicable for different. And Prabhupada actually had this quality. Yes. Prabhupada knew how to engage different devotees. Like Prabhupada knew the nature of different devotees and engaged them in different kinds of services. That was actually, that's why Prabhupada could preach so easily, because he knew what to do with different kinds of devotees, different kinds of people with different natures. Yeah. Yes, anyone else? So if you don't want to be like Puranjan, what should we do? If we don't want to be like Puranjan?
we should always engage in the association of the devotees, get under the right guidance of spiritual master, and then get connected to Krishna. So we should be always in touch with the devotees to make us engaged in the service of the Lord. Not to become a Godas, but to become a
and
Shamista.
get, by association, get freed from all the material desires,
Yes.
so that we don't have to accept a body which is like a pur. We don't have to accept another pur. We don't have to accept, so that we don't have to accept another material body. We should get freed from all the material desires, because it's mentioned also, there's a verse about desires. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakale
Ashant.
ashant Krishna bhakta
Shant.
nishkam athaeva shant. So all these different kinds of desires, bhukti kami, mukti kami, what kind of desires did this person have? This Prachin Barishad. Bhukti kami. He was a bhukti kami. So he was a bhukti kami. He was always performing different kinds of desires, different kinds of yajna, so that he will be able to enjoy. So to remove that enjoying mentality, just to free him from the enjoying mentality, Naraji actually spoke this katha. So we should, by hearing this katha, we should get freed from that. If we have any of such desires, we should give it up, at least after hearing this katha. So we are like Puranjan as well. So we want to be we don't want to be like Puranjan. So there are some nice stories in the scriptures, like which talks about different personalities. Like Duryodhan's katha is mentioned also. But do we want to be like Duryodhan, or do we want to be like Arjuna? We have the choice. Duryodhana, there is so much mention about Duryodhana also. And we also have Duryodhana speaking. Duryodhana, in Mahabharata, there's so much speaking that Duryodhana does. But we can understand that, this is not, just knowing them, that we come to know, yes, we shouldn't do this. Like, we also learn from such people what not to do. So we don't want to be like Puranjan. We don't want to have that kind of enjoying mentalities that it will create another body. So Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anything else, devotees, that you learned? Okay, so thank you so much, all the devotees. Shri Shri Radha Girdhari Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Shri Gaunitai Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री माधव गोविंद प्रभु की जय।
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Hare Bol.
हरि हरि बोल।
Assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा।